Hey guys, welcome to the Midweek Marketing Mix. My name is James Dearsley of the Digital Marketing Bureau, and we're here once again on a Wednesday. And there's been a few trials and tribulations backstage, as it were, behind the scenes with James Reynolds, who's here in the film strip but doesn't seem to be able to get in. We've sadly lost Ryan Hanley, our special guest today. He's had to make an emergency change with his flight schedule, so he's off somewhere. We're trying to pull in Anna Bennett from somewhere, but she doesn't seem to be picking up, which is a shame. Anna, if you're there, we've got invitations out for you. But anyway, look, we're back here live. We've got sadly, I mean, we've only got Mia Voss and we've only got Wade Harman. So
I was about to say, you're just stuck with us two, aren't you?
Yeah, that's all it is. There's not a lot going on here. But look, just a bit of housekeeping before we sort of get into the nitty-gritty of it all. As always, we're using what's called the Showcase app. So in a minute, I will be turning all of those things on. What the Showcase app means is that a lot of the links that we're talking about, the people on this Hangout who are here talking will have their profiles loaded up. We'll have links that we're talking about there to be shared for you to sort of get some more information of what we're going on about. So those of you watching it in Google+, you'll see it on the, I think it's on mine right-hand side, so no doubt on your left. I can't really work it out. If you want to comment on the event, as the Showcase app is on, just above my head to my right or left, whichever one it is, there's a little square with an arrow in it. If you click on that, the event will take out of a little dialog window and you can sort of go onto the comment tracker. And if you're watching this as a recorded event and you still want those links that we're talking about, then in the little button which is on one of the corners which says be a part of the conversation, click on that and you'll get all the links that we're discussing. But I mean, look, it's been a pretty cool week this week, and one of the things that we're talking about, we've mentioned here the Showcase app. We've also added a dimension to this. And I felt we couldn't not have Mia Voss on, who is obviously destined to be known as forever as the lady with the tiara, but is also known as a lady who likes to play the applause. So we're trying the applause out, right, Mia? So why don't we kick off with whatever that's about?
Well, I'm going to start with the traditional. If nothing else works, let's do that. But you know, this is my favorite one.
There you go.
They need that. They need a trumpet one too. So, yeah, you may not get this because this is a U.S. Phrase, but there's a cereal called Life Cereal, and back in the anybody over 40 knows this. They'd be like, "Let's get Mikey to try it," and I feel like let's get James to try it.
Give old Gubbins here a go. Let's just try it on this show. See what happens. See what works. So, what's it all about? I mean, it's a bit confusing in my mind.
You know, brother man, it just popped up for me yesterday, and I don't have the photos up. I don't know if we can show those photos that I sent. What happened was I went to my event, and I went to my event, and all of a sudden this little shiny message was like, "Hey, Mia, do this." I'm like, "What is this?" And it was interesting. It basically said, you know, you can have this applause function, and you know, have people vote up for vote down. So I'm a little fearful of.
Well, here you go. There's a shared screen, right? So that's what we're seeing.
And that, and I'll tell you, James, I'm over here with my 5 different screens. I should Chromecast you over here too to really get it going. I don't see that showing up for us. And it also doesn't have. Did you notice it doesn't have a film strip here with Showcase? Or did you turn that off?
No, I turned it on.
Yeah.
I do know the Applause app is on by default because I got one of those shiny screens too today, and it says if you want to turn it off, you have to press the little button inside. I don't know if it's inside of the Hangouts. I've not tried it yet.
Well, and that was the visual that James just showed too, that actually says it's already on. And Ronnie Benser, shout out to RB, sent out a note to everybody saying, hey, it is on and it will start automatically. For me personally, I don't use Showcase. I never use Q&A. I love the Showcase. I think it's great, but for my shows, that focus is always about the audience engagement and having the comments right there as opposed to taking them away from it.
Well, I'll tell you what, I mean, this sort of sums it up for me. I mean, Lee's has mentioned it immediately, which is nasty apps in use. I'm all for following the comments. Thumbs down for the applause app. Now, I mean, apparently you can boo this sort of stuff, right? I think that's one of the other aspects of this. So, Lee, if you don't like it, mate, you can boo the whole thing. I'm not hearing anything. I'm not sure what's going on. So
yeah. And I'm going to take a photo right now. I've got you Chromecast on my TV. I've got you over here. I got it all kinds of. I'm going to Instagram that bad boy.
But maybe if we can say it to the guys out in the who are watching this, if you guys are seeing anything from your end, let us know what you're seeing, because ultimately, obviously, from being in the film strip, we're not seeing it. I'm not picking up on it.
No, I'm not seeing anything. I don't know. Is there something we should turn on over on the left side to even? I don't know if I would see it, James. See, guys, this is what it looks like in action.
Now, I wonder if you have to, is it like the Showcase app where you have to, well, it said it was already on, but do you have to turn it on from the start menu out there in the event page, or turn it off from there?
So basically, the mechanics of anybody who wants to sort of have a go with this is basically when you're setting up your Hangout, you turn on your Showcase app as you would, and you load up all the links, which I do enjoy doing, because I think for those of you who are on the film strip, it's good to give them a plug and share things that they've written. But
I think it looks great. It definitely looks great.
Opportunity to have the applause, and you just basically turn it on, Wade. So I thought there'd be something here, but I'm not seeing anything at the moment.
I don't see it, and I have it up as somebody who's attending, and it's got the little screen share, but I don't see, I don't see anything. So sorry, guys, I'm not getting it.
No, well, I'll tell you what. Lee's just said you need to turn the applause off before going live. It's on by default. But I turned it. Maybe I turned it off.
Right.
Well, I think he just means you need to turn it off if you don't want it.
And then you got Layla just saying, "I just booed it."
Layla, you better not have booed me, girlfriend.
Hey, hang on. And Layla says, "Yuck! I hate the Showcase app." So, hey, this is quite interesting, you know. Glad.
Yeah, I did Showcase one time, and it was a.
Hey, I tell you what. Do you know what? Because I do this this show and the data show on the other Wednesday when I alternate, and I do this predominantly because I'm looking more at the viewers who are looking at the recording rather than the live show. And the ability to have all of your links in place for the companies that you're promoting or the blogs that you want to talk about, and having it there so that the people who are watching, you go, "Oh Christ, I haven't got an event page to look through because I'm watching this on a blog post that somebody's written and they've embedded the video. I want to know what that link is they're talking about." And so from that respect, I've really found the comment tracker particularly good. And just
I love this comment, and I'm sorry, it's Leela, and Leela, I followed it. Carmen's here, and she says, "I'm jumping from one screen to another, watching the comments on one screen and watching the event on the other. Is this an exercise in multitasking?"
Yeah, that's
Am
why
I passing the course?
That's why us men can't do it, but. Yeah, I think that's really interesting because, I mean, it's not very conducive, is it? I mean, we found this before in the showcase. For a live Hangout, which is what we're doing here, it's not particularly conducive for live viewings, right?
Does it make you think that maybe the developers are just big stoners? And they're just sitting around going, "Dude, guess what we should do?" And then it's like, "Oh my God, why did you think of that?"
No, I'll tell you what I think it is. I genuinely believe that what they're trying to do is they're trying to consolidate all these apps down, because the whole premise of this for me is taking the power of a Hangout outside of Google Plus and embedding it into Google Plus, obviously Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, wherever it might be, and the ability to have the Showcase app on, but also it talks about the integration of the Q&A side of things as well, because the Q&A side, if you're outside of Google Plus, you can open up the Q&A app within the Showcase app, and you can ask your questions that way. So I don't know if it's them trying to dictate how we start putting in comments and questions or whatever. So that's my theory.
I think so too. I think it's always been goofy. It's funny because I don't know if you guys have ever sort of pulled up, if on the left hand side, how many of these crazy ass apps there are. Sorry, James. And just stuff we don't use. Scoot and Doodle. I kind of want to draw a mustache on you right now. Oh no, it's called Draw. I should draw something on you. Yeah, there's just different things that I don't use. But I will say the time that I did see the Showcase app was on your show with Christine and Sarah Hill, and it looked cool.
Yeah, I don't know. I think it really depends on the host and the producer as to whether they want to use this sort of stuff. Just one quick comment for Kath. I know you're watching. This is great. How do you read, write comments, and watch the video? Basically, above my head on one side, there's a little box with an arrow in it. If you click that, it'll take the Hangout on its own little event dialog box, and you should then be able to comment and see all the comments. It's a bit...
Hi, Kath.
Yeah. Hey.
And hi, Zara. Hi, Coach.
So, not a massive amount of love, and just to thanks to, I think it's to Lee for sharing this. I'm going to try and share the screen for a second because we might be able to see what it looks like.
Oh, cool. Thanks, Lee.
I think this is what you see, right? I'm only guessing Lee on this. So he's
I'm sorry. Look at that little face.
And if I'm correct, and I'm just assuming here, obviously this is the film strip just above the face here, and it looks as if these guys are obviously plussing it, these guys are negative, and I think this is Lee again, who put in a comment, "I'm giving it tons of booze." So I got a feeling that's him saying it right there, yeah.
It's like when Facebook used to have the dislike button.
Oh,
I love that.
I did too.
Oh, there you go. Oh well, how weird, but
yeah. So now we know he likes it. He doesn't like it. Hey, Mikey, to quote Life Cereal.
Yeah, okay, so that's been a new little thing happening in Google Plus and with Hangouts in particular. Has there been anything else kicking around of interest out there, Mia, that you've seen?
You know, we talked about so just some fun stuff going on. Of course, Hangouts is always they're always fun to sort of play with. We we've all been doing have you done a remote show, by the way, yet, James? I was going to ask you that.
No, I haven't. No.
We need to get you out there, because here's the interesting one you and I talked about. Let's see if I have it open. I love this. I did a post on it the other day. I'm going to screen share. And you guys don't judge my 50 million windows I have open. We talked about that, James. This new, this cartographer thing. How much are we nerding out on that, right?
Super cool.
So, donuts. Street View is it says as a backpack wearer walks through a building, Slam Technology generates a floor plan in real time and displays it on an Android tablet connected to the backpack's computer. And then we can add points of interest on the go, such as T-Rex replica in a museum. Look at this, James. This is so us. You can map with Cartographer, so you can create floor plans for a 39-story building like the San Francisco Marquis Hotel in just a few hours. Dude, how cool is that?
You could geek out on this.
Yeah, we could nerd out hardcore on that. I just think that's super, super fun. And then what was that link you sent me today? That was fun, where we could pin our photos in a map. That was kind of nifty.
Yeah, so it looks as if Google Plus have made a further integration with Google Maps, if I'm correct. So it looks as if they're putting some major work in all this integration in the back end. And from the looks of things, from what you were showing me earlier on, Mia, you were tagging the photos you put in Google Plus albums, I think, and it was then you're able to pin them into the world at which you were at that particular point.
It did, and what I'm hoping how it works out is what I did was I pinned some Auto Awesomes. So I pinned one at Chautauqua Park when we did a hurl with a bunch of people here. Tom Collins from Dog Claws, Debbie Davis put it together, so it was pretty cool. So if you could like not only pin that, but then have it be that moving GIF for that Auto Awesome, it's pretty neat.
Yeah, I don't know. It seems as if
nerd alert again.
A big move at the moment. I mean, to sort of put out here, I love this Carmen from last week. Just says, see if anyone else is doing the geek dance.
Yep.
Yep, that's me. I'm doing that at the moment. So yeah, it seems like there's a lot of stuff going on at the moment in terms of what Google Plus is doing with all these integrations going left, right, and center. So I've just had a little apology to make. My voice volume is a little bit low, so I do apologize if I'm just going to put my volume up a little bit. There we go. I'm just going to put it up.
I know. I was about to say we need to hear those dulcet tones, brother.
Well, it's very boring English, you see. So I hope
not according to us.
I hope that's a little bit better. It does seem to be in the comments. There's an awful lot of questions about how everything being on the same screen and that we can't seem to do very much with this applause app running at the same time. So it's certainly fascinating to see the comments that you guys are making in terms of. So this one, for example, Ursula talking with Kath Dawson there. It looks like the only way to communicate with them is here on the event page. Just like Ronnie, which is obviously Ronnie Bintzer, the Hangout helper, had warned.
So I think what you have to do, and I can't remember who it was on your show, James, somebody did tell me that I could just grab the URL and then open it up separately, because when you do click on the start button, it pops you out over here. So I think you can just take the URL. I believe that's how I did it, and then I got it separate because I wanted to Chromecast it, so get you on the big screen.
Wow, this really is experimentation on the go, isn't it? Really. What I'm going to do is I'm going to post the event. I'm going to post the event link into the page that we are in to see if these guys can do it. So I think that's what it was, which is you.
Yep. And then James, if you'll turn on the photos, I will take. I'll take a picture and then post it so people can see kind of how I've got it here too.
Yeah.
On my little command control over here. And Zara, thank you for your comment, honey. You're so sweet. I should be heavily medicated right now, but James is soothing.
My quiet, dulcet.
Your quiet, dulcet tones. That is correct, Sarah. So, what's next on there?
Okay. Well, should we bring in Wade? I mean, Wade, I know we sort of caught you on the hop a little bit, but partly because you got a bit of a celebration to come across, I think, with a promotion, a job role. I don't know if you want to share a little bit about that.
Yeah, Monday, this past Monday, I started as the CCO for Will Media. With
I'm going to do the noise for you. You ready?
That's right. Awesome. I love it. It's what I'm doing anyway, just a little bit bigger scale, and I really love those guys. We're doing a lot of good work over there. So hiring a bunch of people right off the bat. So look for that.
Yeah, good stuff. And CCO is Chief Communications Officer, if I'm correct. Just for those of us because I don't think we have. I think we're just getting to CMOs over here in the UK. We're just understanding what a Chief Marketing Officer is all about, let alone a Chief Communications Officer. So look, congratulations, man, and no doubt you're shattered after a busy week.
Yes, very busy. Thank you very much. I'm really stoked about it.
Well, loving it. So what's going on in the social world? Have you picked up anything which is quite interesting in terms of discussion points out there?
Yeah, two things have really caught my attention. The first of which I saw a share from Jay Bear the other day about how the PGA Tour, it's the Ryder Cup, and I think that's over in Scotland. They're not allowing people to post photos of the Ryder Cup on social media. So no players and no fans can use social media while they're on the field. So, and you know what social media is, especially when you're at an event. You want to take pictures and throw them up on Twitter or what have you. I just don't understand why a large organization like this would just put that to a halt. And how are they going to monitor that?
I agree, and you know what we think about how much we love to say, look how cool I am, selfie, I'm at this, cool event. It's free, using your audience to promote because they're so excited about being at your event.
Yeah, that's right. And there's 250,000 people that are expected to be there. And so if 250,000 people, 85, 90% of those guys is going to have a social media account and a phone. So that's just free publicity, and I don't understand why they wouldn't want to promote that way.
I think you bring up two really interesting points on that, Wade, because I think one of the reasons may well be it's holding up play, because as far as I'm concerned, golf is all about movement of play through, and I think you made the point, Mia, about the selfies. And selfies are now, literally, when you go to film premieres, it's not autograph signing anymore, it's selfies. And selfies take up time. And if you can imagine all of the players being surrounded by the fans as they do the tee-off, maybe they're worried that this craze of the selfie stuff is going to prevent the run of play as they meticulously plan it. That's the only comprehensible reason I can think they're saying there can't be any visual stuff.
Yeah, but isn't golf a slow game anyway?
Slow and boring?
Yeah, I don't play it.
Hang on a minute. Now, I will tell you that there was once a Winston Churchill, our very famous Prime Minister, who said that golf was a good walk ruined. I disagree with Churchill. I disagree with you. Golf is a wonderful sport.
Unless there's a beer cart, I guess.
Yeah, and that always goes at the end. So, okay, so it's incomprehensible. I don't understand how they can control it, and I think it's a daft thing, and it's probably going to get them an awful lot of negative publicity because, yeah, as you say, Wade, Christ almighty, everyone wants to take photos. It's a visual world now.
Well, it says this website I'm on, golf.com, it says if fans were to post unauthorized photos from the event, the very concept of fair play and teamwork could be at risk.
Fair play and teamwork?
I don't understand that, really.
Hang on a minute. There's no fair play. Well, there was teamwork in the Ryder Cup. Fair play.
Unless they're texting, like, use this golf swing, You know what I mean? I mean, I get it with sports that they do a lot of code. You know, think about baseball when they're flashing their little signs or whatever, and there's plays. But that happens like long after you go and watch the play and pick up what that is. But it doesn't happen during a golf match. That's hilarious.
Yeah.
I get it. I mean, and I've got to say, there's who's just put this out. It was again our friend Lee who just said PGA killing the evangelists.
Perfectly said. He's in fuego today, isn't he?
Yeah, it's excellent. Talking about fuego. I mean, Carmen says, CCO. I went a few years not knowing what an SUV was. Actually, come to think of it, I don't think even I know what an SUV is.
What is it? It's a utility vehicle.
There you go. I didn't even know that.
Well, you know what? And in the States, we have SVU, which is the Law and Order show. So that always threw us for a while too. So. Dear. That's hilarious.
All right. Well, look. So, I think Mia, you had something to comment on this from another media article, right?
It goes in with, and I'm sorry, I have it up now with the vote up or vote down thing. That could really distract you quite easily. I'm over here like squirrel. With what Wade just said, this whole thing about them saying, that they can't take photos. There was this interesting article that came out a couple weeks ago, and it was a restaurant who was they were trying to figure out why their service was so much worse, why a lot of people were complaining, why restaurants were taking longer, why they were getting poorer reviews, and they did this whole, they put in cameras, and then they compared it to 10 years ago, and they said, okay, the time from setting down, have you guys seen this, by the way?
I did. This is good.
It's so good, right?
Yeah.
From the time they said, okay, from the time the hostess takes them, seats them, puts down the menus. Like 10 years ago, it was throughout its numbers 5 minutes between that and when the waitress came over and took their order. Now it's like 15, and then from that, from the time the order is, and then it's like another 15 minutes, and then from the time that people get their food to when they leave, it's gone from like 45 minutes to an hour and a half, right? Guess what it is, James? Guess what the equation is?
Oh God, go on.
Social media. Because here's us, right? We're like, thanks for the menu. Doop, boop, 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 tweeting. I'm here checking in on Facebook, right?
Yeah,
taking
and
a picture.
Say that whenever the waiter brought their food, they would have to send their food back because it was cold, because they were messing on
they
their
were
phone.
Instagramming it. Oh, the other thing she said, why does it take so much longer to place the order, and why have you had to go back twice? She said because usually they're like, hey, what's your Wi-Fi code? What's your Wi-Fi? That's the main question. And then they're like, okay, thanks. Boop. Oh, your Wi-Fi password doesn't work.
Take pictures and stuff like that.
It's crazy.
Don't get me started on the very nature of human interaction. It's something I have to talk about an awful lot in some of the stuff that I'm going to actually just talk about in a few minutes, about the very nature of how our human interaction, our communication, things like Hangouts, I think it's improving it. I mean, we're opening up doors to people that we would never have access to, and we're able to talk face-to-face and all this sort of stuff, and we can talk till we're very, very tired about this sort of stuff. But, how depressing is that? I went to a meal recently, and there was a family of 4, 2, probably one 8-year-old, one 13, 14-year-old, a mum and a dad, and all they were doing for the entire meal was just tapping away on their mobile phones.
Oh,
wow. It's just
for that age? Oh. Wait, you've got kids. Are your kids old enough to have them and do that?
Eli don't have a phone. He's got a Kindle that he plays with for 15 minutes a day. He would play with it all day long if I let him.
That's right. It looks like that family, right, James?
Well, see, let me add to this, talking about what Mia was saying with the waiter and the customers. People know me for relationship marketing and being very friendly online and just engaging with people. But these phones, daggone these phones, because it takes up most of my attention when I'm out. I'm that person at the restaurant because I'm trying to stay engaged on social media that I forget, hey, I've got a life and a wife out here at home, and so that's one of the things that I've been trying to break away from in the past. The past 2 months have been when my work is done, my phone gets cut off, the computer gets shut down. Used to, I'd leave it on all night long. And, I've been trying to get more engaging with the people around me, the people that I can touch and see. And and not to say that it's bad to be involved on social media because of business, because of friends, whatever. But I believe that we really should take a step back and recultivate these people that are already around us, and not alienate ourselves from people in our hometown or in our family.
At the dinner table, right? So you have two things. One, you're going green because you're shutting off your computer. I've had to do that too. Does a lot of energy. And then you're also being a great example for your kids. Dad's engaged. Dad's right here, right?
Yeah, but I wasn't. I mean, I've been working 3 years, about 16 hours a day, and it's been all day long on social media or on the computer, and it could get rough, and so and I've just now started to realize, and I'm ashamed to say it, but I've just now started to realize what I was doing was wrong. I shouldn't be doing that. When work is over, work needs to be over, and I need to engage and try to cultivate relationships with my family and the people that are important to me here. And so I think I've messed up, and that's one of my faults on that aspect of it. Yeah, people was like, oh yeah, you're the great relationship guy, but you know what, man, I about screwed it up for myself, in my hometown. So I want to tell people, have a time set for yourself for these phones and the computer and things, but then have a time that you can just drop that and interact with the people around you too. I don't know why I said that.
I'll just let you go on that, boy.
Waste throws down the mic.
You're okay. We'll finish now. That's great. I mean, actually, I want to go back. I want to go home.
Throws down the mic. Can I jump in on that one too, James? Because I think a lot of us have. I think I mentioned this to you in our conversation before. We might have Google widowers or widows a little bit for those of us who are in a relationship with people who aren't as interactive on Google Plus. And then you get the what are you doing, honey? I get that, and I'll be right there. He never knows who I'm on with for sure. It could be you, could be Nazim in Italy. It's definitely a lot. But I made this the summer of JOMO, by the way, the joy of missing out, because I was like, man, I am such a slave to this thing. I'm a slave to Mr. Jingles.
Oh man, you and me both.
So this summer I said, F that noise.
But I tell you what, let me put an alternative to this, because Wade, I feel you, man. I mean, I absolutely agree with you, and I mean, just to quote, before we go into this, I would like to just say that, some really good comments about you coming in, great going, Wade coming in, you got way to go, Wade, can we say we knew him when, we got congratulations, Wade, coming in, these guys are so supportive of you, and this to me is quite important, and it's funny because I often have this sort of feeling about the working too hard on the social, in the sense that, do you know what, I'm bloody passionate about it. And I thoroughly enjoy doing what I'm doing. And it's very hard to separate that off. Mm-hmm. And it's funny enough, because there's a comment here. We're going back onto golf, right?
Well, it is hard to separate it because you want to, my idea was to create a lifestyle for my family so I could take them on vacation, so I could give them, toys. And, I was able to buy my son a Kindle. He was dying for a Kindle, and the look on his face, that just made me so happy because I use social media to do that. But, I had good intentions with being a slave to the jingle bell, but I didn't know when to stop, and that's where it kind of gets, that's where I started messing up, and so I made a New Year's resolution in the end of July. So I'm stuck with it.
All right. Well, look, we're going to bring it back on the golf in the sense that that Carmen has put up here, which I think is particularly apt. If you watch a game, it's fun. If you play, it's recreation. If you work, it's golf. That's what sums it up. That's what sums it up. And you know what? To be brutally honest, and I'm going to relate this back to social media and what you've just said there. You know what? I still have fun. And I still play at social media a lot of the times, and that's what keeps me going at all this sort of stuff. So it is striking that balancing act with your family. I mean, Christ, I've got 2 young kids, Wade. I know exactly where you are. I have a wife who's never touched Twitter in her life, just about understands what Facebook's all about. Google Plus, she just thinks it's just me talking to a load of people all the time. But it's finding that balance, right? And it's, we always have the date nights, and we always go out, and she's saying, "How's it all going?" I'm saying, "Yeah, I talked to loads of people recently," and it's sort of, it's educating them in the sense of, what, it's a passion, it's a joy, it's work, and at the same time, we're evangelizing about how to use this sort of stuff, and as long as we have that balance right and we don't run out of steam. I mean, Christ, we talk about HOA. What's he called it when you just run out of energy? Chef sometimes talks about it when he does all his food shows, and Mia, I'm sure you and Christine have done it on your 8-hour shows when you just run out of puff.
You tank. Right? You tank out. You do. You definitely have to parcel out your time. And back on that too of what Wade was saying, you're both saying, I think that it's also really good for actual productivity, because if you don't give yourself that, you'll just putter away all day. And so really setting some time boundaries for yourself is great for relationships and then just productivity in general. Because if not, you just fritter away your whole day like, boop, boop, boop. Man, it's 8 hours. What I do, I don't know. Right?
Oh, man. Yeah, I've had plenty of days like that.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, there's like 8 turkeys in my yard.
You need to take a screenshot of that, like right now. You can't make that kind of statement and not take a photo.
Well, look, wait, this is for you from Lee, who is on fire. Look, we need to remember me, family, work, Google Plus, etc. So it is the balance, right? That's what we need to remember. And finally, look, we got here, Layla. You're a good man, Wade.
Yes, it's like Charlie Brown.
But I tell you what, and the most important thing here, and this is just me sort of offering it out, which is at least you know that you realise that something's wrong, right? Because there's a lot of people out there who literally just spend all day long doing all this sort of stuff, and they think it's right. And it's only when people have got some level of consciousness that they're probably doing it too much or it's interfering with their lives, that's when there's a problem. So, but look, Layla has said that here's one applause for you all, so that's pretty cool. Let's move on a little bit. So, Wade, have you got anything else in terms of, I mean, we've done the Ryder Cup and their bonkers stuff, although somebody mentioned here, Ursula has said, if I recall correctly, Augusta National has the same restrictions. So it may be a golf thing.
Yeah, it may be.
Well, maybe it's the ringer thing. Maybe it's like they can't get people to turn off their phones. You know what I mean? It's not like Caddyshack.
Maybe it's not even allowed. I don't know.
Hey, James, can I do that somebody messaging app thing? Can we talk about that? Because that one's really funny.
Yeah, go for it.
And then real quick, I think, Wade, you have a new, you know how we say squirrel? For you, it's going to be turkey.
Yeah. No, seriously, they're out there.
That's hilarious. We need a picture of that. So, guys, Nazim Beltran, my brother from another Italian mother, posted this. Can you guys see this? So this is the Somebody app, and I can't download it because I don't have an Apple or I have an iPhone, but look at this. So it's this new human messaging thing. It works with the user's phone GPS, and when you want to send a message, you log in, you select your recipient, and then the app will show you a list of somebody in the relative close proximity to your recipient, say somebody in the park, and you send your proxy from that list over to them, and they have to say that to them. You have to watch the video. It's just, I don't even know how they show it in the video, but you have to click on this because it's hilarious. So that's the new thing. You got to see the video. So you can select somebody on your phone here, and then it selects somebody close by. And now I don't know how they know who to go to. It's probably a spoof, but I just thought this was hilarious. Can you imagine? Like, this is the new connection. You don't even like connect with them. You're just like, hey, go say that to that person.
That's funny.
I thought it was awesome.
Okay, by the way, picture is up on my profile if y'all want to see the turkey.
Well, there you go. So Harry Fielder is desperate to see the turkey. So look, the profile of Wade is in the showcase app. But let me just summarize it for those of you who may have joined late. So we are using, we think we're using the traditional showcase app, which means that if you're watching in Google+, tick the little square box with the arrow in it, and you should be able to see all the event comments which are going on. It'll take the event into another little box for you. And yeah, please do comment in what we're talking about. We've just sort of covered literally Google+ and these new things like the Applause app, which has just come out, which we're trying to fathom out exactly what's going on. We have no idea from the looks of things. I think we're being judged as a positive or a negative, and we don't know what's going on. So I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing.
Right.
We've covered various other things on Google+, like Google Maps, integration with Google+, and cartography. Wade's been talking about the Ryder Cup banning the visual photos from social media. How on earth they can control that, I simply don't know. Maybe they've got some social media monitoring, incidentally, which is following all the tweets, and they're able to find it by user and their GPS coordinates, and they're able to find out who's who. Who knows? It's a bit of a security operation in my mind.
They probably use this somewhere or someone app to tell them no social media.
How sneaky would that be? I tell you what you could do is you could type in a photo, you could give it to somebody else and say, I think this is for you. Can you send it? Get them to send it for you. It'd be brilliant. Okay, so what else we got, Wade? Have we got anything else coming in from the social world?
I saw something today. I didn't read this, but I saw the post Mark Traphagen shared about Google Plus communities now getting photos sharing. So I guess it's like a profile.
What's that?
Hang on.
Well, I'll tell you what. While you're finding that, what we didn't mention, Mia, is another thing. Is again from the Hangout sort of moves this week is the fact that Hangouts are now indexable in search from the looks of things. Companies,
yes.
And I think it was GoDaddy, is that right, Mia?
GoDaddy was the company that Ben referenced it. So, of course, as usual, they only roll it out slightly, sort of, the shoppable Hangouts, that's still only for certain brands. And so I think that's why. So GoDaddy's been doing a great series of Hangouts, and so they are showing up in indexing, and that was something Ben pointed out. So that might be to my advantage since GoDaddy's going to be on my show this Friday.
Cool. That'd be a good thing. And yeah, have you got any more information on that one, Wade, or not?
Oh, Wade?
Yeah, I found that post that Mark had shared. It talks about Google Plus is adding new features to communities where it's a tab where all the photographs that are shared by community members, which this would be awesome in David Amerland's Cloud Wars community.
Right.
Like that. So it's collected in a gallery, and you can just go back, and it's not the photo attached with the post. It's just the photo itself. So it's like in your personal profile photos. You can just go over there and just browse all the photos. So that's pretty neat.
Some good stuff going on. Alrighty, well look, what we'll do now, I just thought, obviously sadly with some of our guests not going on, I'm going to take over a slot here and talk a little bit about the future of marketing. One of the things I don't often do in the Midweek Marketing Mix is actually give you some of my insights as to what's been changing, what's been going on in the world out there, and there's been some pretty interesting things happening for me personally this month, and also in the world of technology. So I do a lot of technology marketing and get involved predominantly in the property world, so very similar to Mia in this case, and I get to test lots of really cool things like Oculus Rifts. I use a lot of augmented reality, virtual reality, 3D printing, and all this sort of stuff. And one of the things that I've picked up this week for the first time is a pair of these, which some of you may well be familiar with as Google Glass.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and I'll tell you the reason. It's taken me, I was one of the first people to be offered a pair of these, or offered the right to buy a pair of these. And for those of you who perhaps are not familiar, this is Google Glass. And what you've got here is you've got a transparent screen in the front, and in here is a little screen, and it powers. There's a camera in here, and you've got, I don't know which one's which, but you've got a camera and a battery in here, and basically, in a nutshell, your emails, text messages, phone calls, and everything come into this little tiny screen, which is basically about half a centimeter away from your eyeball.
Now let me ask you a question. This is something. Yeah. You said text messages and things like that. Is that from Google Hangouts chats, or is that from your phone?
It's synced with your phone.
Okay, yeah, because that's one thing I didn't know about it.
Yeah, so it's basically, this is one of the reasons when, for a long time, I considered whether I went away from the iPhone. Christ, we haven't even talked about the iPhone 6 being released and the iWatch and everything. But, I'm teched up, so I got, Samsung Gears coming on, and I got all this sort of stuff, and I've got a haven of stuff coming over in the corner there. But I wanted to try this, right? I wanted to try glass, because in all the speeches that I give, to all the corporations and the companies that I stand up in front of, I have said for the last 2 years that I was not a big fan of glass because I couldn't quite understand it. I couldn't get the concept of it. And I tried it probably 2 or 3 times, and I'd made my assumptions based on that. But I felt a bit of a cheat standing up in front of hundreds of people and saying I didn't like glass. Well, no, it wasn't that I didn't like glass. I like the concept of glass. But I find that I feel that Google is going down the wrong path with it, because to me, it looks as if they're styling it and they're trying to build it as a consumer-based device. And I wasn't sure it was ready for it. And I think, Mia, we've talked previously about the privacy aspect of this.
Mm-hmm.
And basically, I bought this because I wanted to try it. I wanted to see what people's perceptions were. I wanted to see whether or not me putting myself in the position of, I was called Mrs. Smith from the north of England in a place called Hull. And I say, would Mrs. Smith from Hull, who's aged 55, would she wear this? Would she use this to help me in my consumer-based marketing of the future? And I'm now 4 days into wearing this. And I still have the answer, which is no. I'm not
So
convinced.
Mrs. Smith would probably get laughed at her gin game, right, by the ladies?
Yeah, absolutely. She wouldn't be able to play bingo anymore.
That's right. And when you look up Nerd Alert, there's a picture of you with all your gadgets, just having fun. I'm so jealous.
I know. I quite enjoy it. But look, I mean, for me, it's a very serious thing, because everything that we're doing here, all this marketing that we're talking about what's going on today, right? What's changed in the last 2 weeks. What I'm passionate about and what I really truly believe in as marketeers is we've got to start looking at what's happening in 5 and 10 years' time. And stuff like this, not necessarily in this connotation, but things like this are going to change the way that we perceive products, the way that we look at the world, the way that we believe in things. So this sort of stuff, I think, is actually pretty important. So is this right as a consumer device at the moment? I'm still not convinced, personally.
Well, I'd say from our perspective of all of us being Hangout hosts, them taking out the HOA capability was, to me, this took it off the table for me, because that would have been fun to do these mobile Hangouts. Imagine I wouldn't have had to do the whole thing with when I did the show on the horse, I just put my little glasses on and get to scan around. So taking out that capability kind of was a deal killer for me.
But
What's the battery life on those things?
It depends on the usage. I would say, in all honesty, it's probably anywhere between half a day and a day, depending on what you're
That's
doing.
not too bad, especially, I mean, if you're going to use it and wear it all day.
Look at Wade. You're like, I still want one.
I do. I'm going to get one. I was speaking at a conference in Raleigh, and this guy walked in with glass. And I had no idea who he was. And I walked up and I was like, hey, man, can I wear those? And he let me wear them. So it was pretty cool. He showed me how to, tilt my head up and look around. It was pretty neat.
I tell you, I mean, let's put it this way. My opinion beforehand has always been pretty, not negative is the wrong word. I really think it's fascinating what they're trying to do with it. I just fear for the direction they're taking in it, which is a consumer base. I've got to say, from me trialing it, I'll give you a couple of case studies. The ability to take a photo instantly, and especially, wait, you got kids. I mean, Christ, I've got kids. To be literally, if you miss a moment by taking your phone out of your pocket and trying to turn it on and click, right? It's an instant. The very nature that I can wink and take a photo is a little weird. In fact, it's particularly weird. So that
as long as you don't have it on auto upload to publish.
You don't want that one. The other thing that I quite like about it is the fact that you can, as I was driving yesterday, I was driving down to a conference, and I had it on, and I received an email, and I tilted my head up, as you just alluded to, Wade, which turned it on and allowed me to see the notification, which wasn't at all distracting in my eyeline or anything like that. And I saw who it was from, and I was instantly able to tap to reply, and I was able to voice my email return. Oh. So within a case of 2 minutes, I'd seen the entire email as I was driving, 2 hands on the wheel, was able to tap to reply and speak a reply.
How did you tap to reply with both hands on the wheel?
Oh, busted.
Busted. Completely and utterly busted.
That's where they get you right there.
Yeah, it is. But actually, no, do you know what? I don't. No, I don't. I think I would have to tap at some point. But anyway, it's one of those things. But look,
I wish you could screen share what you can see. That would be cool. Like JD version, JD Vision. JD, that's your, that's what we'll call it.
JD Vision. Well, look, what I wanted to do, obviously, this is all about what's new and exciting, right? Now, to me, Google Glass is not new and exciting. Most people understand what it is and its knock-on effects, right? It's new and exciting for me because I'm starting to using it, so expect updates on this sort of stuff. But what I did wanted to share was taking that to the next stage, because obviously what we want to do is we want to say, well, hang on, what's next for Google Glass? And this came out this week, which I found very, very interesting, which is an article on CNET, and we'll share it. I'll just scroll to the top, which is augmented reality contact lenses to be human ready at CES. Now, CES is a consumer electronics show. The point is that this technology that I've just shown you with glass is looking to be available within a contact lens. So all of a sudden, it doesn't have to be inconspicuous in terms of it's on you. I mean, I have had people go to me, oh my God, he's wearing Google Glass. And you can stop and say, what a tosser. But in this respect, people wouldn't see it. Now, obviously, Christ, that opens up privacy issues here, which is if that becomes the consumer device to sort of display content. And what they mean, by the way, by augmented content, it's basically a superimposing of digital imagery over real-life situation. If I just scroll down here a little bit, this is an example of what you could see in the future, right? which is saying, you could have your Facebook newsfeed coming up, you could have your photos, you could take photos from it, you could have reviews of restaurants as you're walking down a street and all this sort of stuff. That is what they're talking about, augmented your field of view.
Oh man, this is exactly what I'm talking about shutting everything down. It's like,
I was about to say.
I mean, what are they trying to do to me? Because I love.
You know what's great though? Let's go back to your screen share and see how many windows James has open. Let's do how many tabs dog shaming for James. And it's exactly that, Wade, of like, yeah, having that. You guys were getting. Go ahead.
They're just trying to get us to, I don't know what it is, but yeah, I mean, I love that stuff.
Well, it's a very Philip K. Dick / Minority Report kind of world, and if you guys are sci-fi nerds, Philip K. Dick wrote the book that Blade Runner was based off of, so it's definitely, we're getting into that kind of world. I always think of that guy that was Lando Calrissian's buddy. Oh, there it is.
Nerd.
Not a bit, but I am. Right when you, oh my God, it's life size. I love that. That's awesome. Think about Lando Calrissian's buddy that had the whole like wraparound thing. Remember that? And he was like boop 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 boop.
And what was that guy's name?
I can't remember. It's it's not Data. I guess somebody. We're shit. That's for shame. We don't know it, but you know who I'm talking about.
Well, whatever happens, you know what? When you get life-size Darth Vader and Google Glass, it's in a scary point of our lives, right? But look, I just wanted to share with you guys that I'm having a play with Google Glass. It's a lot of fun to have, and it's only the start of where this stuff is all going. But look, I'm going to sort of wrap it up a little bit, I think, because I don't want to waste anybody's time. Have you guys got anything that you want to sort of big up for next week going forward, or any calls to action websites you want to point people to, or anything like that I can stick in the Showcase app?
Which one you want to go first?
Go for it, Mia.
I have a couple. I have GoDaddy and Mike Alton, Christine DeGraff, and Robert Caruso are on my show. We're going to be talking about business tools and efficiency, so I'm going to be taking some serious notes on that. That's this Friday. Larry Fernelier is coming in September 25th. We're doing a Mile High VIP Con, so that's the first of one of many hurls. Hurls are hangouts in real life. And then Chef Dennis, myself, and Jean Littley and Amy Valpone are going to be speaking at ShiftCon in LA October 2nd through 4th, and that is the very first eco-wellness social media conference, so another hurl. And I think we're going to be hurling with Denise Wakeman and Rebecca Radice too, so get your party pants on.
Absolutely, and look, all of those links are in that Showcase app for those of you who can see it on the right.
And thank you for posting the link for my brother Bob, my boy Bob. He has somehow managed to outdo me even from the grave by getting the most views on that video more than any show I've ever had. Stinker.
Good old Bob. And look, on the if you know, we're all familiar with Bob. If you know Mia, you know Bob, and bless him. We know he's in a happy place now. That's the thing.
Yes, he passed over on the Rainbow Bridge on Monday, very, very peacefully, surrounded by hot chicks, because all the women at the vet were crowded into the room, and he went a happy boy.
Bless him. I bet he did. I absolutely bet he did. And Wade, what do you want to? By the way, I'm sorry, mate, I have got to mention that in the showcase of your profile, I don't know if you can see it, but the only other photo I've actually kept of Mia is Bob in the tiara, because I think it's very
Is that not appropriate?
Yeah, you got to have it, right? That for me is Bob in a nutshell. Wade, what have we got for you then, mate, in terms of what do you want to plug for this week and next, and so on and so forth?
Well, I have a webinar class that you guys can use if anybody's doing Hangouts. I've got a webinar class called Monetize Your Hangouts. Shows you how to make money by doing the things that you were going to do anyway. And there were some people in the event page that have actually took it, like Zara and Layla. So you can ask them about how it was. I've got testimonials in that showcase link. I've also got a special price for you for this show today too, if you want to take advantage of that. And I guess the other one would be my subscribe page. If you'd like to get email tips from me every week, you could just head over to wadeharman.com/subscribe. You get relationship marketing, social media, Google+, all that good stuff. Do what?
TheMiaConnect.com. Go subscribe to Wade, and then open another tab and subscribe to me, and then you'll be connected to both of us. How's that?
Yep.
I forgot.
Perfect. I'll make sure that that your subscribe link is in the showcase. It's not at the moment, but I'll get that in post show word for you. And really, to be honest, that it leaves me to sort of wrap it all up, really. And one thing I just want to mention, because I think Wade, I think you really made some really good points today, and totally unexpected and very real, which I really appreciate. And something here which was mentioned, which, do you know what, is one of the philosophies that I live, which is moderation in all things. Too much of one thing is damaging. And it reminds me of a quote, and I want to say it's an Oscar Wilde quote, which what was it? Everything in moderation, including moderation, and that that for me is how I live my life. So look, I want to wrap it up. I want to thank you guys in the panel. Look, Mia, it is always a pleasure. It is always a pleasure, as is it with you, Wade, and thank you so much for all your input. And thanks, guys, for your input into the event stream. And look, it's been fascinating trying this applause app. Sorry, it's one of these things we try and do in the show, is always bring you new and exciting things with the best guests, which are down here. Do join us next week. We've got the What Does the Data Tell You show, which will be happening exactly the same time, where we get a data platform looking at a case study and sort of taking you through the ropes of how you can use data to help you with your marketing techniques. And then the week after that, 2 weeks from now, we've got the Midweek Marketing Mix, which will be a special one, if I'm correct, because we actually got a merging of shows with the G Plus Spotlight show. So we've got Ben Fisher and Stefan Havananen coming in as part of a co-branded Hangout in air in 2 weeks' time. So that will be an exciting one. And that leads me to say goodbye to you all. See you, Mia. See you, Wade. And see you soon.
See you.
Bye, James. Bye, everybody.
Bye.